I would come equipped in your car with cell phone charging cables and an auxiliary cord. Those are the only things that I would do personally. Now, I made a video on this, should you, buy extras for your car, and those are the two things I would recommend doing. I would recommend those two. Don't buy candy. I mean, for one, if you want to offer candy to your customers and you want to pay for it, that's up to you. But I do not see this at all being anything that you should buy. It's an extra business expense, and it can get pretty messy in your back seat pretty quickly with all the candy wrappers and stuff. You got to take care of all that. So that's extra unnecessary maintenance for your car. Should you get a car wash? That's a great question. Well, that's going to ultimately depend on if your exterior is clean. If there's bird poop on your car, or this time of year, if there's a lot of salt on your car, like there is on mine right now, which next time I have to drive, I got to go through the car wash. So if your car looks like a mess on the exterior, I would recommend getting a car wash. Should you get a car wash membership? I would hold off on that, honestly, unless you live in a place like up north where there's a lot of snow, a lot of salt during the wintertime. Then I could see a car wash membership being useful during that time. But for the most part, if your car is clean on the outside and on the inside, you should be good to go. Another thing is for new drivers, understand your commissions cut. It is an 80-20 split in favor of you. Now, the 80%, of course, is, depending who you ask, if they say it's definitely not 80%, well, and the answer to that question is, depends how you calculate it. Just remember that on your phone, your fare final, after the fare is calculated, after your trip, it will show you how much it will cost. And you have to take $1 off of that after every time. Now, some people think it's included in the fare, and then Uber splits it out in the statement in a separate category for the $1. But while you're on a trip, they include that $1 in the fare. So you have to take off one before you calculate your 80%. So if you're doing it from that perspective, it is not 80%. And that's very, very important that you know that, and you keep track to make sure that you're being paid the right amount of money. You can always check your pay statements. They are updated in real time by going to the partner dashboard using your username, login, and password. Now, to get you started off actually getting rides, that's going to depend. I'm going to assume that a lot of people who are starting this are going to be part-timers who work Friday and Saturday nights. So if you're starting right around 5 or 6, where do you start? Do you turn your phone on at your house? I would recommend this. I always start my phone before I leave. And even sometimes I just sit here at my desk and do some things and keep my phone on, just in case someone needs a ride. I don't really think it matters too much where you live, either in the deep suburbs, out in the country, downtown, in a nearby neighborhood in the city. I would definitely turn your phone on and wait for a request, because if you get a ride, while you're at your house, well, that's great. That's less miles for you to put on your car before looking for your first ride. Because that's what I did on my first day. I just turned my phone on, and I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to go right to downtown Cincinnati and see whoever needs a ride. Now, if you are living in the suburbs, I would recommend staying there, at least at first. Now, as you get more of a feel for your city, if you don't get paged a whole lot in the suburb that you live in, maybe it's time to find another one. I would definitely turn your phone on to keep that open, a chance of opportunity. Because my number one piece of advice, I made a video on this before, is people like to go into the city during the daytime, during the evening time, and people like to go out of the city at nighttime. Now, of course, not everybody goes into the city at that time, and not everybody goes out of the city at that time. Those are just the trends. There will be some people who go into the city at night, and some people who will go out of the city during the day. It happens. But the trends, where you want to place yourself in the more likely position that you're going to get a ride, that's where you want to be. And you want to take long rides versus short rides. I've made a video on this. You can definitely check out my channel. If you hang out downtown at 5, 6, 7 at night, in the evening time, you're more than likely to get a lot of short rides. And minimum fares do not add up very quickly in most markets. Some markets are different. But in my market, it's a $4 minimum fare, less one for the Safe Rides fee, and you are left with the $3 fare, 80%, which is $2.40. That's not going to add up a whole lot. Whereas if you take someone into the city, you can make significantly more than $2.40, depending on how many miles you take them. So in my suggestion, my viewpoint, it's always a good idea to try to find the long rides. I wish I had known a lot of this stuff when I first started, so I hope this video was useful for new drivers, and for all the other drivers who watch my channel. What advice would you give to new drivers? I would love to hear your feedback, so definitely put a comment in the comment box below. And with that...